What's up, YouTubeites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. It has been a long day, man. I am in full-on quarantine mode, and yeah, man, I haven't looking for a barber. I got my hat on, just looking all disheveled. So sorry, running a little bit late, boys and girls. We're just getting some information, just like at the last minute. So let's get right to it. Let's start off with the theme song, y'all.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Somebody show us something. Hold on and get some, boys.
That is why they compete.
What is good, YouTubeites? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. Almost new comic book day. This is Tuesday, March 24th, 7 days into quarantine or 2 weeks. I have no idea. I'm still working from home. I actually had some stuff today. I got kind of irritated. I was like, how dare you bother me at home? I'm working from home, really, kind of. But hey, welcome to the CovrPrice Top 10 Back Issue Sales for the week ending March 22nd, I believe. So last Sunday is the end of that sales cycle. As always, I got my man, Milton the Man. I'm going to say what's up, Zach.
What's up, everyone? I know it's new comic book day tomorrow, but I was able to get my books today. One of the main reasons is I got the hookup. The second is El Paso's going on lockdown tonight, so my store was selling a day early. Sad day, man. Sad day. No new comics on the horizon.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow, actually, on the Lord's show. But first, let me introduce Otto the Humdrum, stuck at home with his kids and wife. And
that's right. That's right. Thank you very much for joining in tonight. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Unfortunately, it is probably the last new comic book day for a while. So go to your LCS if they're available. Spend some money. You know, dig deep into the wallets. Keep those people alive, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have new comic books. So let's see what we can do for those LCSs out there. All right, so let's get started.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff happening, man. Like I just read YouTube is going to be throttling down bandwidth. So basically, it's going to be hard for you to view anything in 4K and 1080p. It's going to load in standard definition.
Yeah, you have to,
and you'll have to change it to high definition. So in the app or itself, in the viewer itself, you have to change it to high HD. It's going to start at like 480. That's crazy, right? They're doing that over in UK too. Disney Plus and Netflix are throttling because there's so many people at home. Everybody is streaming. This is crazy, dude. I mean,
world problems.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, talk about it. So, of course, this is a CovrPrice Top 10. Check out our friends at CovrPrice.com for all kinds of goodies. This is a list brought to you strictly on sales data from our friends over at CovrPrice. They pull in like 300,000 points of data a day. They pull from different places. This isn't a not top 10 sales list of comics ordered from Diamond or whomever. This is back issue sales, so they can pile this off eBay, Comic Link, My Comic Shop, wherever they are selling these books. So most of the time they're going to be newer books on here. Every now and then get an older book on here. So we are just giving you sales data, right? We're not, looking into the future and telling you this book's going to get hot, because I'm going to tell you right now, I was going through this list. I am very disappointed at you as collectors who buying into this bullshit. I'll just say that. And I'm not blaming our friends at CovrPrice, because they're just about the sales data. They give you the sales data. So numbers aren't wrong per se. They're not right. They're not right or wrong. It's data, and we try to analyze it. Go ahead.
I think that's important to state, because I know we do a lot of spec stuff, but yeah, as Tim said, this is not spec. This is not spec. These books are hot because they have been purchased. So
that's why we're doing
here is spec stuff.
That's why we do these like 2 days after the week, because we compile it from Saturday to Sunday for those week of sales. So it's pulled from different sources, and then we're gonna see some of these books. And I just gotta say, I'm glad we did it, because it just shows the kind of stupidity of a lot of you people out there, and a lot of you people who follow these apps or YouTube channels. I mean, I hate to say that, because people are going to think that we do that, but I've always stayed away from speccing new stuff. I never do, right? I only do it based on movie and TV news. I don't just do it based on just nonsense, to be honest with you. So with that caveat in mind, I said caveat. Let's get right to it, boys and girls. Our CovrPrice Top 10 back issue sales, and I believe Otto's got the odd ones, right?
Well, you're going to start with honorable mention first?
Oh,
Yeah.
let's do that. I don't have a graphic for it, but huge shout out to those who've been watching The Mandalorian and Star Wars and the books that we've been talking about. Ahsoka Tano has been cast for Mandalorian
news.
season 2. This is huge news, and that book is starting to pick up. So if you don't have it, go ask Justin. I think he's got quite a few
Yeah,
copies.
he's stocked up on it.
Keeping up like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I do believe he started buying those when we had on our long-term spec list a while ago that they were going to be developing Ahsoka Tano for live action. We didn't know it was going to be Mandalorian, but we knew that they were planning it something just like Jade Mara. We spec Jade Mara. We even spec Thrawn. So that's cool that we're getting to see this. So she was part of the what we called the honorable mentions that didn't quite crack the top 10, but I guarantee you next week. I don't know if that book would even make it next week because there's not a lot. It's not a high print one, I would say.
Yeah, there's not a lot of copies out there.
Yeah, so I mean that's exciting news though. I think she's perfectly cast, perfectly aged because Ahsoka Tano, by the time the Mandalorian comes around, she was kind of, I would say she's a little bit older, right?
A little bit, right.
Yeah, so she's got to be like a seasoned Jedi by this point. But all right, so Otto, you're the odd one, right?
No,
Zach is going to start with number 10.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get right to it, boys and girls. This is a leftover from last week, and
So same book from last week. Shouldn't be surprising to anyone. This has been a hot book for a while. It's X-Men number 4, first appearance of Omega Red, classic Jim Lee cover on the X-Men there. A lot of things coming out in these rumors. He's rumored to appear in Disney Plus's Falcon and Winter Soldier whenever that eventually drops. But in terms of price or in terms of sales, it sold 27 copies, had a 7-day trend of 98%, and had a high sale of 175 for CGC 9.8. So this book's been hot for a while. Great cover, classic villain. A lot of people scooping this book up.
oh yeah, classic Jim Lee. I mean, like I said, everybody has at least one copy. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Or like if you're Wolverine, I think he's got like 27 copies.
Right. It's just waiting for it to break, right? Like that's something
Exactly,
everybody's been hoarding.
Yeah, but this is classic. I actually think Jim Lee's art was better back then than it is now. And here, you'll never look at Jim Lee art again the same way when I tell you this. All of Jim Lee's characters have scars on their faces.
I've never noticed. His Batman and his X-Men are definitely the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always have scars on their face. I think it's to show trauma or whatever, but it's kind of interesting that he always draws that. And I couldn't look at, and the most prominent was in Punisher Warjourner when he did it. You know who else does it? Will Spertasio, who back in the day used to draw like Wetworks and stuff.
Oh, Wetworks was great. Oh, I love Wetworks.
So Bilbo asks, what's the raw average on this? So the raw average on this book is going to be $15. So that's obviously not on any kind of like very average in terms of all the grades. The highest raw sales you're going to have is $100 book. The lowest raw sales is you're going to have a $2 book. So obviously really dependent on condition there.
Yeah. All right, let's go to number 9 on the list. Otto, what do you got?
Yes, we've got Countdown number 31, a book that I really don't know much about, but this book does contain the short origin of the Joker, which alludes to being the beginning of the 3 Jokers. It sold 24 copies. It had a 7-day trend of 114% and a high raw sale of $14.99. So Zach and I were talking with Tim here, and I don't remember seeing this on the boards as far as New Comic Book Day and stuff like that, but it's got some Joker lines and
it's not. It's
it's old.
Yeah, it's an old book, so it's not going to be New Comic Book Day. Yeah,
it's from the Countdown, that 52 storyline that they did like way before New 52.
Right. Yeah. But again, we've got, a short origin story of the Joker here and the 3 Jokers. That's what's up and coming. And you'll see as we're talking about all the Joker stuff coming up.
So the reason why this book is picking up, because in this story, it alludes to there being 3 Jokers. And of course, that's the new DC storyline. And so that's why this book is picking up, because it's not really the origin of the Joker, but it alludes to there being 3 Jokers. And that gives,
the book gives 3 different origins of the Joker. So it doesn't necessarily like say, hey, there's 3 Jokers, but it gives you 3 origin stories for the Joker.
So any little amount of spec, are going to get things up. So, it's a mover. I mean, it's number 9 on the list. Nice to see some DC love in there. That's not all, punchline. And as I say that, Zach, what's next?
Yeah.
So punchline adjacent book, I guess. It's really getting more credit for the first appearance of the designer. We got Batman 90. This was on here last week. In fact, I believe it might have been our number 1 last week, or number
No,
two.
it was number 3, I think. It was
Number
number
three?
3. Yeah.
So-
The cameo was number 2, and the first
That's
4, yeah, was number 1.
So first full appearance of the designer, sold 38 copies, had a 7-day trend of 84%, and had a high sale of $21.44 for a raw copy. This is obviously going to be cover A. There's a cover B that has that cool Riddler. God, I can always mess that guy's name up. What's his name? How do you pronounce it? The
Mimic.
I'm sorry.
I said mimic.
No, the artist for the cover B variant. Anyway,
Matina or Delato?
Matina. Yeah, Matina.
Francesco
Sorry, I was thinking of
Matina,
someone else. But yeah, so the cover A, like I said, this book is a hot book right now. This whole Batman storyline, anything Joker related right now, Punchline, Designer, hot books. I was thinking Francesco. Yeah.
Francesco Matina.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, it keeps on going. I mean, it's still number 8. So we'll see next week where it's at. And you think it'll stay in the top 10? We shall see. That's what's cool about these lists. Is we're doing them every week.
Huh?
Kind of see how it goes, but it's still there. 7-day trend at 84%. Next up on the list is a book for Otto, and this is for some dumb fuckery out there.
Yeah, no, this is Batman 412. The speculation people believe that the Batman villain Mime has some connection to Punchline, which is what we've heard before. While this is stretch, most copies are pretty cheap. It sold 16 copies, had a 7-day trend of 262%, and a high sale of $36 for a raw near mint copy. Now, we've talked about this book before. Is there a connection between Mime and Punchline? Who knows? No. I still like to say.
Shout out to my man Tuamua, who is on YouTube and Instagram. I believe he's the first one to post about this jokingly, and then Key Collector app posted it up as a hot book. So all I'm gonna say, come back and look at these books in 2 months from now and see where they are.
Good luck. Good luck selling your copy of Batman 412 for $36 in the future.
Yeah, so we shall see. I mean, you're seeing the sales data and just flipping it, and you're not holding on to these, hoping for retirement or putting your kid through fucking truck driving school or whatever the fuck it is they do. Hey, shout out to Jack B for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it, brother. $5 will go toward my copy of Batman 412. I'm just kidding, man. I'm not kidding that. I like blue chippers and long-term spec. I don't like this one, especially this one. The other ones, they have legs on them, but this one is pure conjecture, man. This is pure conjecture. I'm assuming the mime doesn't speak, right?
I'm a mime. I'm a mime.
Right.
Does she speak?
No.
Well, Punchline's already spoken.
Right.
So
well, maybe she got her voice. Who knows?
That's I guess, man. All right, next up is from my man Zach. What do you got for us, Zach? Number 6.
So another book we shouldn't be surprised about seeing. We got Batman 89. It's been on here the past 3 weeks. We've been doing this. This is going to be the first partial cameo of Punchline. It's still moving, still selling hot.
Sure is.
Sold 50 copies, had a 7-day trend of 87%, and had a high sale of $149.99 for a CGC 9.8. So this is the book where you just see the lower half of her mouth, the first cameo appearance. We're going to have her first full appearance. No surprise, should be coming up here soon as well. But once again, just a book that has a lot of legs based on this Punchline, Joker, Batman situation right now. This is the cover A here as well. Cover B, if you're looking for it, is going to have Batman fighting Deathstroke, another Matina variant.
Curiously, it's not on our list, so I'll just tell you.
Yeah, they
right
must
now.
have creeped on out, those ones.
Yeah, so I mean, this last week was number 2 on our list. So I mean, it's still pretty good to be up there. I mean, it's good for sales. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. I don't want to, intrude on our CovrPrice.com, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, so we can have it on our Lord show, because this is about Cover Price and the sales data and what's going on in the market right now, and we can talk about how the stuff with Diamond will affect. I mean, when you have a hot character, you want these books coming out like crazy right now, and this may affect us. So we shall see, man. Next week,
hold on, give me one second. We got a question. Got you right now. Asking what the raw is selling for. So raw typical sale is going to be $32 roughly. So just like previously, this is an average. Highest raw sales, you're going to have $91. Lowest raw sales are $2. So cover price. Oh shit, and actually lower than cover price. But
I wonder who got that shit.
Yeah, who's selling that? It must be like cover misting or something.
Right.
I know, right? I got a corner of it. Here's a picture. They got just the mouth of Punchline, and they tore it apart. So that's very interesting, man. So contrary to what you think, it's not a Punchline book next. Otto, what's next?
Well, it's because of Nightwing number 70, because Diamond actually used the descriptive words of punchline very poorly on this. So this book was a big hit in pre-sales thanks to Diamond, for using the word punchline, causing the favor of the issue would feature the full appearance of a new character, Punchline. She does not appear in this issue at all. Yeah. So the prices tumbled quickly. It sold a huge amount, 111 copies, and had a 7-day trend of 52% and a high sale of $39.99 for a raw copy. And it turns out that it was just a farce. It was a mistake. Diamond used the wrong words to describe it, and people went crazy over it.
I wonder why that is, though. Did they get an early solicitation from DC, and DC had it wrong? Or
I think it's a combination of a few things. So when Batman 89 came out, and we first had Punchline showing up, everyone's buying these books, right? And then everyone knew Hell Arisen was coming, but the order had already been put in. So really, Nightwing 70 might have been the next week that was possible to order books in a large amount based on what was coming out. So I think shops just put in a huge order for these after all the heat from 89, 90, and Hell Arisen. And people just thought that was the reason. And so they started scooping them up.
Yeah,
still a dope cover though. I still dig the cover.
Oh, it's a great cover.
So,
and the Joker War is playing out to be like it's going to be pretty epic. So we already
have a book alluding to it already on the list that has really nothing to do with Punchline, or maybe so. I mean, at this point, I think they're just spending the 3 Jokers, the Joker War, and the storyline that's coming, and that's why we're seeing anything Joker adjacent, Punchline adjacent, anything adjacent you want to think of. Next up is a. I'm kind of excited for this book. This thing kind of popped out of nowhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Zach, what is it? Number 4 on the list.
So we got Fantastic Four 352. So a couple really exciting things about this, and I'll get to why it's a spec book. But one of the things that I think is exciting is, hey, man, we've got the Fantastic Four now in the MCU. So this is awesome that we're getting characters finally kind of showing up. This is the first appearance of the Minutemen, who are the police force for the Time Variance Authority, who are going to appear in the Disney Plus Loki series. So not the high-profile Fantastic Four characters we want to see yet, but we're getting there. We're getting a couple movements. So it sold 24 copies, had a 7-day trend of 266% increase, and had a high sale of $19.95 for a near mint raw. So I don't even know if there's like CGC data on this. I mean, who was great at the book?
Right before this was the interesting team of the Fantastic Four that Art Adams did. The one with it was Hulk, Wolverine,
Ghost Rider, right?
Spider-Man and Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
it was right before. I think it ended right before this started. But this is with the time variant stuff, so everybody's really specking hard on and they haven't even announced anything official yet about time variance. You know what I mean? All they saw was a TVA on Loki's shirt, and they ran with it.
And that's it. And then you got a Thor book that blew up. You got this, and this is a great book.
That could be spec, man, because it may not be TVA. It may be TVO.
Oh,
TVO, what up, son? In the
air. So
put it this way, we don't have any long-term spec on the Loki show. So whatever is out there, take whatever grains of salt there are.
I'm looking right here on CovrPrice, and there is a graded copy, a $10 9.6.
Jesus,
scored, dude.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's cheaper than that raw book.
yeah, right.
The thing about
somebody screwed that one up.
The interesting thing about Reed Richards, he rarely goes fantastic anymore, and he rarely uses his stretchy powers. You ever notice that? If you read current, he's just there for his brain. I mean, really. He's not super stretchy anymore. It's kind of sad, man. It's kind of sad, man. I like seeing hang glider Reed Richards. Right. Actually,
I like when he goes to a parachute.
Yeah, the parachute, or when he
I was just reading
a giant ball around the thing,
I was just reading the new Fantastic Four where they go. There was a world that was created where their mission was, and
it was actually how they got their powers. They fixed their origin. Yeah,
but they made this world where everybody got powers through gamma rays.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's facing him. And then there's a scene where him and Sue Storm break out of a building and he flies off into this parachute mode, man, which is pretty cool. All right. Number 3 on the list will surprise you.
Yeah. No surprises here. Year of the Villain. Hell
Why?
Arisen number
It is a
3.
surprise because it's not number one.
Well, you're right. So we're dropped down to number 3.
Well, you got to think to yourself, what is 1 and 2?
Correct. We've got some things going on here, and it's going to be pretty interesting when TiVo tells you how mad he is about number 2. So that little foreshadow. So Hell Arisen number 3. It sold 78 copies. It had a 7-day trend of 99% and a high sale of $169.99 for a CGC 9.8. So Hell Arisen number 3, first full cameo punchline. It is what it is right there.
It is. That's the comic that keeps on going. It's a shame that the Diamond is happening right now and that tomorrow, but it would be curious to see if they were gonna stop shipping new comics and you can see what can really happen. I think this may affect it, but you know what? It may not affect back issue sales though, because I think people are gonna be like around with nothing new, just buying up as many copies as they can.
Because I'm pretty sure even open, man.
You're going to see a lot pop up on eBay in about a month or two from now where graded copies come back. Whoever didn't do on-site grading and they're mailing these in to get graded, you're going to see a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Zach, what's number 2?
Number 2 is a super random, unfortunate book. But what we have is, so I'll tell you what it is, and then we'll let TiVo the Terrible rant.
TiVo the Mad.
So we got Spectacular Spider-Man number 176. So this is a first appearance of a villain named Corona, and
fuck off.
It has to do with some, powers like, I guess like virus type powers. And because of coronavirus, this grew. So it sold 35 copies, had a 7-day trend of 382%, and had a high sale of $40 for a near mint raw.
So, like I said earlier, man, CovrPrice.com just gives you the sales data. And so it's up to us to analyze it. First of all, if any of you are specking on a book that's a virus in real life that's affecting how everybody lives their life and people are dying, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. And if you're an application or a website or a YouTube channel that's telling people to go out and get this, that it's a hot book and you should think about getting it, fuck you too, because that's pure bullshit. I hope your grandmother get cancer of the eyes. Serious. I mean, because where is this book going to go? What's it going to do?
You better flip it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid. Pure stupidity. I mean, at least the one with the mime, I can see that maybe, drawing something, but this is speculation at its worst. Right. This right here is speculation at its pure drivel-ridden worst, who needs to pay for subscriptions for their app or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? We don't do this kind of crap. We don't tell you to go buy something because it's, something's happening in real time. I mean, I can, the same. Okay, so if you think about a comic attached to something in real life that happened, the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head is the black issue of Spider-Man when 9/11 came out. But that was an homage. That was a tribute. That wasn't a tribute to all the first responders and everything. Right. That was the comic book industry like saying there's sympathies and everything like that.
Apathy. Thank you. This is for all the other heroes that don't wear capes.
This is just pure stupidity. And anybody that pushes this shit, you suck. Serious, straight up, you suck. I mean, if you need to do this for a living, come on, player. Come on, playboy. Go get a job, man. Because I got a full-time job. I don't need fake shit. You know what I mean? When I do our list, at least our news are based upon what we're hearing that's going to happen in movies and news. This is pure stupidity. It's stupid. Matter of fact, I hope you get coronavirus just for peddling this shit. I hope you don't die, but I hope you're sick as a dog for like 2 weeks. That'd be horrible. I don't want people to die, but I mean, this is just pure stupidity. I mean, coronavirus. But like I said, this isn't anything about the guys at CovrPrice. I'm glad that they were able to get us this sales data so we can talk about it and be like, this is absolutely sheer stupidity at its highest form. This is people getting cabin fever, stuck at home, and you need something to buy. There's plenty of good books out there to buy. No disrespect on Corona, but do you really think Marvel is going to reintroduce a character named Corona in the comics or movies or TV show in any time in the near future? No. People have think about that, because our spec driven by future issues, appearances, movies, TV shows. Do you really think Marvel's going to come? There's even I don't know how true it is, but they want to get rid of the actress that plays the Wasp because she said she's not going to quarantine herself. If you think they're that sensitive, you think they're going to do anything with a character named Corona? Come on, y'all. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah.
That
Bad
is
comedy
crazy,
star
man.
scream is the way I like to say it. This is not
Yeah,
funny at all. You
and
know,
I mean, anybody could even look at seriously. This is a book to get. It's like, come on, go suck a dick. I'm sorry, man. Is this show for children? Oh no, it's no show isn't for children. Yeah, suck a dick and choke on it. All right. So
Number
we
one
don't
is
have punchline.
interesting, man.
Yeah. So who's got number one?
I can talk a
think
little
it's
bit about
Otto.
it, and I'll just Zach and I'll tag team this. All right.
Look at that. This is a surprising new number one on here.
Yeah, Spawn number 306. It features a very popular gunslinger Spawn on the cover. People are digging it. It's selling copies left and right. It's got a 7-day trend of close to 600% and a high sale of $40 for a raw copy. And Zach, what did we say was who's coming out in this? Ninja who?
Well, you have the first appearance and the cover, and then on the original cover, not the variant cover. The cover A
D.
is
This is
a
cover D,
Raptor.
This is cover
and then
D,
you also
yeah.
have the origin of Ninja Spawn in this issue. But
Ninja
it's
Spawn,
hot
yeah.
because of this gunslinger variant, who's
Yeah.
a very popular character.
So here's and if you're thinking about in the collector's field, like last week we talked about two comics. Remember, one was the new Bounty Hunters book, and then we said, you know what? You should go back and look at the first appearance, which is Star Wars 16. This book will get people to go look for the first appearance of Gunslinger Spawn.
Yeah, it's crazy that this spiked so much, like out of nowhere. There's really nothing like necessarily no heat. It's just a cool cover. People like this Gunslinger Spawn, and we're like, yo, I'm snagging it up.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something interesting, specifically about Spawn and people who look for characters that never appeared because it came from the Spawn toys. If you remember when Todd McFarlane was doing the Spawn action figures, he had everything from Samurai Spawn to Medieval Spawn and all these different ones. And they weren't even comic book characters. And people were like screaming, I would love to see this in a comic book. But, you know, Spawn has its kind of story. They didn't make a medieval Spawn in Witchblade. Remember that? There was a medieval Spawn. But there's so many different crazy iterations Spawns that Todd McFarlane made and his toy. Those action figures were actually really good. I mean, they weren't like the $7 action figure. These were really highly articulated. I mean, the design on them was really well done. So I'm kind of curious if I think Gunslinger Spawn did make his first appearance. Somebody want to look that up? What his first appearance in the comic books? Because I know there was a Spawn toy for them. I mean, you know, Todd McFarlane was. I mean, for a while Todd McFarlane was known for toys. He wasn't known for Spawn anymore. That's how far. Remember, you know, in the middle, the 200s of Spawn, nobody was reading Spawn anymore, right? It kind of went away, but everybody knew what Todd McFarlane toys were. He got a licensing from like the NHL and a couple of other places. So curious, anybody in the live chat know the first appearance of
it looks
Gunslinger?
like 174, maybe.
Yeah, 174, 175.
Yeah.
So the other interesting thing about this book too is once again we have another book here that has no graded copies, no sales data for any graded copy.
That is a dope.
Well, it's pretty new, so I mean, it's probably at CDC now,
right?
Maybe. So
that's true.
So I'm trying to think if this is also the first time. Well, Philip Tan didn't do the cover, but he took over the internal art for this one, and then our friend Ken Lashley has taken over after Philip Tan. So remember, I dropped that. Ken Lashley told me you can say it now. That Ken Lashley going to be taking over for Philip Tan. I mean, Todd McFarlane always gets the best artists to draw Spawn because you know Todd McFarlane is an artist before he's a writer. He's a horrible writer, by the way. Speaking of which, what's going on with the Spawn movie? We haven't heard anything about that, have we?
Nothing. But just a fun fact about this book, you guys. Spawn 174, 2008. It's a Greg Capullo cover. Very low print run, and it's a silhouette of him on the cover. And it's actually a pretty dope cover done by Capullo. So
if you think about Capullo's career, man, he has done the same title for like the longest times ever. I mean, if you think about Spawn, he did it for a long time, and then he went over with Snyder doing Batman. I mean, he did that for a long time too. And I think he's coming back with Snyder, isn't he? Do something else?
Three Jokers, maybe with Jeff Johns.
Yeah, because he left and did his image thing for a while. I'm trying to think what Capullo did. I want to think it's
he did Metal. I mean, when he was doing the
he's coming back for Metal too.
Yeah. No, the image title he did. He left when they ended their run on Batman. He went off and he did an image book.
He was on X-Force for quite a while as well.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I was reading that image book. It's kind of interesting how
Reborn.
Yeah, Reborn. It was he decided he wanted to do something indie book, per se. I don't say how big Reborn was an indie book, but it was pretty cool. The Reborn storyline, and Capullo, I always say Capullo is greatly influenced by and Reborn was kind of this cool kind of sci-fi fantasy thing where all the dead people were reborn into this kind of fantasy world. It's kind of interesting. I don't want to give away too much, but it was pretty cool, man. Cool covers. I mean, Greg Capullo still kills it with the art. A little weird with the mustache and everything, but otherwise, I always think when those two are together, you got Capullo and his mustache and Snyder with his eyebrow. If you notice every picture, he's got like this his eyebrow rised up.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody in the live chat who's joining us, man. Thank you, appreciate you guys for joining us. I know things are kind of dead or slow right now. Everybody's working from home. We only have 40 people watching, so hopefully you guys will catch us on the rewind. Normally we get twice as many viewers, so I don't know what's going on. Things are slow, but do not miss tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow we have a huge long-term spec list for DCEU. This isn't CW. This isn't HBO Max or HBO Max. This is plans that DC is planning out for the next couple of years for the DC cinematic universe. And dare I say, you may see a character or two from the books that we just gave you right now, but tomorrow it's going to be huge. It goes everywhere from Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age to modern. Correct. For these characters' first appearances, and we're going to cover them all for you. It's a huge list. We got about 10 characters. It's a reserve list that they've already put aside to say, hey, we want to develop these characters for the DC. No, we'll do it right now. No, I'm just kidding. We got our boys are going to be joining us. We got our boys are going to be joining us tomorrow, so we can thoroughly go through this list and tell you what all the first appearances are. So make sure you join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for a DC long-term spec list that we got from our man Mikey Sutton, man. So this is going to be huge. So stay tuned. Any last words, Zach?
No, just same thing. Everyone stay safe out there. Keep your families healthy, and pick up that last week of comics. Make it a large week so it'll hold you over.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Otto the Humdrum, last words.
That's it, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. It was my pleasure today with all the things that we got going on. Thank you very much, Miguel H., for noticing the FF5 in a display. Thank you very much for that. Dave in a Cave from 3 Men in the Basement jumping on with all the knowledge, and everybody else who's been in the live chat listening to us talk. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. We got a great show for you guys tomorrow night, too. Long-term spec list is huge, so let's get ready for that one.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. Today I scheduled this a little bit late, so I schedule them a day in advance. So as soon as I'm done with this show, I'm going to schedule the show for tomorrow that comes at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Pacific, or 9 p.m. Eastern. Otto, myself, Zach, and probably our man Nemesis Prime will be on there. Until next time, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.